If you're a coach or consultant who wants to grow your business without shrinking your time freedom, you're going to love my guest today. She's going to explain how thinking like a seven-figure entrepreneur to blast through old limiting beliefs can help you do just that. Hello and welcome to the Seven Figure Life Fulfillment Podcast, where we share strategies to help coaches and consultants build life-affirming seven-figure businesses filled with passion and purpose. I'm your host, Ken Stephen, and my guest today is Nina Cooke. Nina is the author of the book Renegade Mindset for Unstoppable Success. She coaches entrepreneurs to create an unstoppable mindset so that they can boost their income by up to 800%, generate more profit, and create more impact without working harder. Nina, welcome to the show. This sounds like amazing stuff that you do.
Thank you, Ken, and it's great to be here.
Well, I'm eager to dive in and find out all about how you can help people. So let's start by helping everyone understand who your ideal client is and what kind of transformation you empower them with.
I work with business owners, primarily coaches, consultants, and financial advisors. So when they come to work with me, they have hit a plateau in their business. They want more, but they don't know how to get it. So they've tried marketing strategies, sales strategies, systems, processes, etc. But nothing has worked for them. So they come to the realization that maybe it's me that needs to change, not the systems that I'm using. When they get to that level of thinking, that's when we have a conversation. And they know that they need to change their mindset or improve their mindset to align it with the goals that they want. And we'll probably go into this in more detail, but those are the people that I help.
I know a lot of people that are definitely in that situation right now. I'm sensing that your decision to become a mindset coach uh, may be inspired by your passion and you're purpose driven in the work that you do. Is that correct?
It is, but I've actually entered this area because I wanted to fix myself. I had a real big fear of being seen because of my childhood. I felt it wasn't safe to be seen in my family. So I tend just to hide away, stay quiet, not express any opinions. Can you imagine growing up in a family? I had two older siblings and I was just quiet whenever the family were together because I didn't want to draw any attention to myself because I thought I would be in trouble. This wasn't a great strategy for life, as you can imagine. And as I grew older, I missed out on so many opportunities because I felt I wasn't good enough, I wasn't worthy or deserving. And I wanted just to not draw any attention to myself, which meant that I wasn't promoted in the way I should have been promoted at work. I never stood up for myself. I was really scared of authority figures in my life. So I wouldn't get to know my bosses very well. They thought I was just a very difficult person to be around, very awkward, socially awkward. I started my first business online in 2005, but I didn't want to be the face of my business. I didn't have my photo on my website. I didn't have my name. I just wanted to be anonymous as far as I could be. That really hampered my business growth and my profitability. I had young children and I wanted to be an authentic role model for them. I wanted to be a confident person for them and not fake confidence. And I had a very difficult situation in a corporate job I secured in my business. I blew a great opportunity to get more business from this company where I was doing a big personal shopping session for their staff because I didn't have the guts to go and speak to the managers and talk about further work with them.
Mm.
I was too scared to approach authority figures. All my sales and marketing was done by phone, not face to face. When I was face to face with someone, I completely froze. And because I blew a big opportunity again, I thought to myself, okay, I need to do something to fix myself. I felt that I was lacking something that other people had. I had a little piece missing within me, which made me scared of life. And I was determined at that point. You know, when you make a decision and you think, okay, I'm going to do it, I'm going to follow through with it, however difficult it's going to be, I have to do this. And I just came to that decision on the journey home from this corporate event, I was sitting on a train and, looking at my reflection in the window, thinking, you've got to do something about this. You cannot keep messing things up again and again. And then I began a very long journey of personal development to find the cure. And I thought, I need to find something that's going to give me a permanent fix. I'm not interested in something that just gives me temporary relief. And I tried so many different strategies. I trained them. I went to workshops. I did courses. I tried so many different things until I found a coach who said to me, the only reason you're so scared of life and you don't have any belief in yourself is because you believe your limiting beliefs are true about you.
Hmm.
And what he did is he showed me a way of identifying my limiting beliefs, like I'm not good enough, I'm not safe, there's something wrong with me, all of these things. And he showed me how to dissolve them, get them out of my programming completely and replace them with new powerful beliefs. And funnily enough, when I started to change my self-image about who I was, the profit in my company started going up
Hmm.
because I was suddenly putting myself out there. I was talking to businesses and I was putting my fees up because I suddenly started seeing my value in this world. And then I thought, well, that's interesting. There's a dotted line between mindset and profitability. And that's when I lost interest in my old business. And I thought, if I can do this for myself and improve my business by feeling good about myself and feeling more confident, I can show other entrepreneurs how to do this. And that's what I've been doing.
That's fascinating story. A fascinating story. Uh, you've actually, I think you may have actually just touched on this next question that I wanted to ask you, and that's just that, what's your perspective? I mean, you talked about the fact that, create a seven-figure mindset, right? So what you just basically said is that you have to become the identity that would allow you to have the life that you want, right? Right? You have to have that first, right? You got to work on that first. So I'm guessing what you're saying is that you help people figure out what that seven-figure identity is, so that you become that person in your mind, so then everything you do kind of fits to that. Is that the way it works?
Yes. The very first thing I do with my clients is I get them to set a fantasy goal. Now, a fantasy goal is a goal that you don't think you can achieve. And Bob Proctor, the great personal development
Yeah.
teacher, he had a wonderful way of talking about goals. So he categorized them into three different groups. An A level goal is a goal where you can easily get it. You know you're going to get it. Maybe you're replacing your car with the same model. No stretch, no inspiration. You're just going to do it. A B level goal is one where you think, well, I want to grow my business by 15, 20% next year. It's a goal, it's a stretch, but it's not very inspiring. And you think, well, I'll do this, this, and this, and maybe, if all the stars align, I'll be able to get a bigger profit next year. It's not really something that you feel passionate about. It's just something that you feel you ought to be doing and paying attention to. And most people ricochet between A and B level goals. If they don't get the B level goal, then they bounce back to the A level goal and just play it safe and, just withdraw again.
Yeah.
But there's a C level goal, and C level goal is the fantasy goal. And the C level goal is really important because that's where the growth is. That's where the inspiration is. That's where we take risks. And these are the goals that we're actually taught by society, by well-meaning family, etc., not to go for. Well, you're never going to get that. Don't think so big because, you're only going to be disappointed in life. Keep your feet on the ground. And it's all very well-meaning, but it means that we think small in life.
Hmm.
But there is a category of entrepreneurs, a small category of entrepreneurs who have C-level goals, who have huge goals, and they go for them and they get them. But they are the risk takers in life because they have a confidence and a self-belief. But the big thing that they have is the desire for that goal. So often when we set a goal, it feels it's out there, it's intellectual goal. We don't have any emotional attachment to it. It's just something that we think, oh, we ought to be doing it, or my parents said I should be going for this, or my colleague did this, and maybe I should do this as well. But what makes the goal inspiring is creating an emotional attachment to it. So
Ah,
what I teach my clients to do is when they set a goal, they have to really focus on the goal repetitively every single day. So we tend to have a goal, we may even write it down, then we put it away somewhere and we never look at it again. We go about our day-to-day business feeling frustrated about life. But when you have a goal, you have to have it within your mindset. You have to really have it there all the time. So I write my goals on an index card, a business goal and a personal goal, and I keep them with me all the time. I've got one by my bedside, I've got one by my desk. I look at it, I write it out every day. I want to get that goal inside me, so I feel it is not just a theory, it becomes a part of who I am. So this then attaches to becoming a seven-figure thinker. You've got to believe that you already have that goal before in your imagination before you see it in the physical world, because that is the attachment that you get to it. You want it to feel really sticky within you, and as you keep thinking about it in your subconscious mind and reading it and saying it and imagining it, writing it out, then what happens is that goal starts filtering down to your subconscious mind. Your subconscious mind is a goal-seeking machine. It wants to grab your goals, but the goal it will grab is your dominant thought. So if
mm,
your dominant thought is life's a struggle, it's difficult to have enough money, not got enough clients, you know, life sucks, blah, blah, blah. If we're complaining, then the subconscious mind grabs that dominant thinking as your goal and says, oh, that's your goal in life. That life is a struggle, not got enough clients. I'll go and make sure you see more of that in the physical world. So we ought to be very, very careful with our dominant thought. The dominant thought has to be focused on what you want in life, not what you don't want. So it's a way of creating a daily mindset practice focused on the goals. And then what happens is, as your goals become more ingrained within you, you automatically start thinking about, how am I going to do this? Then you start creating the behavior and the habits. So there has to be alignment between your goal and your habits, because if your habits don't align with your goal, you're going to keep self-sabotaging. If you get to your desk late every day, if you don't do the outreach, if you don't follow up, if you don't make offers, if you don't pop your fees, then you're not going to get this goal. You're going to keep self-sabotaging it. So what comes first is your desire. And when the desire is strong enough, you will do everything you can to make sure you get it in life. It'll become so strong within you, it'll have such a pull for you that you will create the habits and the behaviors to make sure you have that goal.
wow. Great golden nugget there for sure, right? Is there is there a tactic or a quick tip that you can recommend to get people kick-started to developing this seven-figure mindset? Like just one step they could take maybe today to start, making that whole process work for them?
Yeah, the first thing I would do is think about what you want. So it doesn't have to be forced thinking. It doesn't have to be, oh, what do I want? What do I want? Just, close your eyes, relax, daydream and think, what sort of life would I love to have? Not what my parents say I should have, or society tells me I should have, or my friends have. What would I love to have in life? What would make me really, really happy? What would I like in my personal life? What sort of health would I like to have? Where would I like to live? What sort of relations would I like to have? And make a shopping list of all your personal desires. You see, your imagination has no limits. It has no boundaries. You can think anything you want. So write down your absolute biggest, juiciest desires. So make a list of all your personal desires and then make a list of all your business desires. How much do you want to work? What sort of clients do you want to work with? How much do you want to be earning? I don't think, well, I could never have that. That's just too big for me. Because the thing about creating this type of fantasy goal is to not think about how you're going to get it. Because as soon as we think, well, how am I going to get that? We come crashing back down to earth again. So when you're thinking of your desires, just think free of any limitations. Think about what you want, absolutely what you want, as if you could have anything you want, as if you've got all the resources to have everything you want. Would you want to live by the ocean? What sort of travel do you want to do? Do you want a 5-star lifestyle? Whatever it is. And make a shopping list and then get a highlighter pen and just highlight the most important things for you. And try and incorporate your business desire into one sentence. I'm so happy and grateful now that ... And the same thing for your personal desire, and write them on a card and carry them around. At the beginning, they may feel ridiculous. That is crazy. But I promise you, repetition is your best friend. You keep looking at it every day and thinking about it, imagining it, visualizing it, saying it, writing it every single day, then slowly it starts becoming a natural part of you. I look at my desires, I think, yeah, absolutely. And then what that does, that creates inspirational thoughts within you, and you get an idea. Oh, maybe I could do this, because your mind's getting used to this new dominant thought, and then opportunity starts showing up. I'd had an idea come out of the blue last week, and I ran it past my mastermind group. They absolutely loved it. But you've got to start training your mind to focus on what you want and away from what you don't want in life, because you are what you think. The life you get is a reflection of your thinking.
Wow, Nina, this is amazing stuff. How can people learn more about you and how you can help them create a 7-figure mindset to grow their business and give them more free time to enjoy the success that they create?
I'm really keen on helping everyone to find out what are their money blocks and success blocks that stop them from having more. So I've created a very simple scorecard. It's a Million Mindset Mastery scorecard. And all they can do is go through it very, very quickly and find out which are their biggest limiting beliefs that stop them having more money and success. Very enlightening. They will get an idea of exactly how they get in their own way and trip themselves up.
Perfect. And where can they find that?
I can give you the link for that. And then once they have the link, they can go straight in and do that for
Perfect.
themselves.
And so I'm going to post that link in the show notes below the podcast here. And Nina, I want to thank you for being a guest today. You've been so generous with your time and sharing your insights. I certainly got some great takeaways from this. As I mentioned, I'm going to post the link for how to contact Nina in the notes below. And anyone listening today, if you benefited from Nina's insights, please share this podcast with your friends so they can benefit too. And I'll see you all on the next episode of the 7-Figure Life Fulfillment Podcast. And Nina, thanks again for being such a great guest.
Thank you, Ken.